Hi guys, now I've often said on this channel that if you want to be successful in trading, or indeed any walk of life, it's best to surround yourself with those that are successful in that particular field, other like-minded people. It's why we operate our live trading room here at forexsignals.com. Lots of other professional traders all discussing opportunities indeed. Now it's also why I love talking and mixing with other successful traders. Today I am super excited as I've just got off a phone call with the renowned and legendary trader Mr. Stephen Kalayjian. Now, as you may well know, I started my trading career over 32 years ago in the trading pits in the City of London. Steve has beaten me. Steve has been trading the financial markets for over 35 years now, each and every day. So you can imagine how thrilled I was to be able to get on a call with him and share some stories. Today, I'm going to share with you that interview with Steve. Now, before I do, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel if you don't already do so. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification. That way you'll be notified the moment the next video has been released. You can also follow us now on YouTube Stories as well. That way you can keep in track of me throughout the trading week. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and of course on Facebook. If you follow us on Facebook, you can tune in live every Monday afternoon, 2 p.m. London time, for a live event discussing market opportunities for the week ahead. Come on, I'm sure you're going to love this interview. Hi guys, it's an absolute pleasure and indeed an honour today to welcome to the channel the legendary and renowned trader Mr. Stephen Kalayjian. Now Steve, like myself, has been trading pretty much all his adult life. He is the co-founder of the Ticker Tocker trading website. He continues to be extremely active as a day trader, trading multiple markets and multiple asset classes. Now I'm particularly excited to talk to Steve myself, being a pit trader. Steve's worked on many of the exchanges. He's worked on the Amex, the Board of Trade, worked on the New York Stock Exchange and indeed COMEX as well. He's got a vast experience trading these markets. So I'm really looking forward to having this chat with you today, Steve. It's going to be great to compare notes about our previous history. So Steve, thanks for taking the time from your extremely busy day. I know the markets are still open across the pond there. They're all closed here in London, but I know they're still open. So thanks very much indeed for that, Steve. Hello, welcome. How's it going?
It's going great, and thanks. I really appreciate it. This is, exciting times in the world of trading. A lot of volatility in the last few days, but overall, it's just a great industry to be in.
It is absolutely, Steve. I just alluded to that fact. I've been trading for over 30 years. I think you said to me off camera a moment ago it's about 36 years. First question is 36 years. Wow, I mean that's beaten me. In fact, you must be the only one that I've spoken to that has beaten me in years yet. But
I feel extremely blessed. Every single day is a different day, and I've been given a gift. And now it's time to take the gift that I have and help others along the way. And it's just been a remarkable ride, and no greater joy at the end of the day when I hear the excitement of how people are starting to really through the technology that we've built here at Ticker Tocker, the predictive analytics, and how it's just changed their lives. So I'm really super excited, and every day is a gift.
So 36 years ago for you, Steve, first question has got to be, what got you into trading in the first place? I know my story, then my followers know my story. What got you into trading all those years ago? I'll
tell you, I want to write a book because nobody would believe the journey I had in the last 36 years. The story started like this. My father was a floor broker on the American Stock Exchange. Wow. I was 16 years of age. He said to me, I want you to come to work with me. I said, okay, when? He says, tomorrow. I said, I got school. He said, forget it. You're coming to work with me. I want you to see what I do. So we went down into Grand Central, took the subway down, first time on the trains. Then I finally went to get some breakfast and walked over to the American Stock Exchange. They paged my father. I walked up these 31 steps. He was standing at the top. And as I was walking up these stairs, he was standing there with his smock on, and I started hearing the roar of the floor. And I never forget the feeling I had, the rush at 16 years of age.
I'm getting it now. You're saying it.
Yeah, and I hear "Ach no dies." So I turned to my father and I said, Dad, and there's people running around me and banging into me. And I said, Dad, what's the ocno of these? He said, he looked at me with a stern look. He said, October, November, December. I said, oh my God, this is going to be a rough day. So,
well, there's all hand signals for that. That's December, that's March, that's June. I mean, we used the hand signals in those days, but yeah, that takes me back as well. I mean, so basically your father got you into trading, and from that day you had the excitement, you had the buzz, and clearly you've got the passion.
There were so many other things I wanted to do. I wanted to become a surgeon. I really wanted to play the game of baseball. I was very good at it. And then I shifted my sports from baseball to football, and I hurt my lower back really bad. And I came home, and I went to a community college, and I got my report card, and I got a D in economics, and I threw my books over my head. And I hit the window. My father looked at me and said, what's wrong? I said, I just got a D in economics, and I know more than this teacher. And he said, that's it. You're getting a job on Wall Street tomorrow. So I went down to work with him, and I never looked back. And I'm a needle in a haystack. I only have 11 credits, but I was given a gift by the good Lord to be able to really trade the way I have been and to build a great company and predictive analytics, and really it's been a great journey.
Well, I certainly found that in the trading pits. I mean, I basically pretty much left school with zero qualifications, much to the annoyance of my father, and I obviously progressed on the trading floor, and I ended up employing lots of traders. I never looked at their resume. You could tell someone's going to be a trader, not necessarily by their education. It didn't take much for me to know when a trader was basically had it and whether he didn't have it. Steve, let me ask you a question. What would you say the biggest challenge was? Because obviously the days on the board of trade, COMEX, NYSE, it's all different than what we do now. I can see you're sitting there, done some research. I think you've got 41 screens there. What do you think the biggest challenge is for moving from that environment to where we are today?
Well, I learned from so many people along the way, and everyone that I've met is going to be a chapter in my book. And probably the first person that I met before I even got into the game was a good friend of mine, and he's no longer here. But he taught me as I was entering into the upstairs trading world. He said to me that it was 1:30 in the morning. He owned a bar in Stamford, Connecticut, and we were just hanging out. And he said to me, if you ever want to trade your own money, never have a mortgage on your own home. And he said, you got to be 5 steps ahead all the time. You can never be complacent in the industry. And that stuck with me. So that was a key part of my belief that every single day you really got to be on your toes in this industry. And you can never be on your heels. And that was something that stayed with me. And then so many great stories along the way. People who I've learned consistency, discipline, just taught me along the way, and that's why I instill even till this day with everybody I deal with.
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, that's answered my next question. Was basically what makes you, apart from a lot of the other would-be traders out there, what sets you aside? You pretty much answered that. This brings me on maybe to the next point. Do you think it's possible to teach someone to trade? I think there's Richard Dennis once wrote a book about it, nurture or nature and so forth. Do you think it's an inherent skill, or do you think you can take someone that's had no background at all in trading and make them a successful trader?
100%. To me, it's really what you want to make out of it, right? So if you want to really learn and have I have 5 key words, and first word is consistency, second word is discipline, the third word is confidence, the fourth word is patience, and the fifth word is passion. So if you have the passion to want to learn, I've taken people who are novices, I've taken professional traders, I've taught them. To me, it's really about the way I spent 8 years of my life building this predictive analytics. And so it can be done. I mean, I've taught, and I'm still teaching every single day in my live room. And I can't even tell you that after 3 days, people are saying, wow, I get it. I see it. And I'm correcting bad habits that they have because, it's all about consistency for me. And so it's like, so what are you going to do if you make $500 on a Monday, $500 on a Tuesday, lose 1,000 on Wednesday, 1,000 on Thursday, and make 200? You're down for the week. So that's not consistent with me, right? So one of the greatest stories I've ever had was a gentleman who I met on the COMEX, and he changed my life. And the story is he was a clerk making $100 a day, $500 a week. His wife, he just got married, was having a baby, and he said, this is the only time now I got to get into that gold pit or else I'll be a clerk the rest of my life. He quit his job, leased a seat, was a local on the lower bottom of the pit, which is looking up. It's like nobody even wants to trade with you. But he set a goal. There you go. Right. They own the locals. They don't get filled because they're like 1, 3, 5 lots. And when these guys are selling hundreds and 5, they want 2 or 3 names to fill a ticket. Right. So basically, he made his $100 a day, and then after 1 month, he propelled it to 200. And then if he lost 100, he stopped. So when I started trading, I learned the consistency factor from a gentleman, and I use that. So I teach that today. And so it's really a great story because it really gave me the foundation to be a great trader. And so that's what I teach every single day.
And I think what makes the difference, Steve, and I hear what you're saying, and we do, we're the same. We're teaching what have you. But what I found is, certainly in the industry, there's a lot of people out there that are teaching people how to trade, but they've never really been traders, or they've failed at traders. And that's why talking to someone, a legend like yourself, that's been in the pits, people like myself that's been trading for 30 years, it's learning to trade from people like that have been through it. They've seen the losers, they've seen the winners, they know what it takes. And you ticked off 5 things there, of consistency, but passion. It's passion. I mean, it's, man, you ooze passion. I can see that in just talking to you, which it almost brings me back to my days in the trading pits. Talking. I love the market talk. I bought many dinner parties. I tell you with my trading stories. But that's great. I tell you what, Steve. I've been. You've kindly let me into your world that I see behind you for the last few weeks, and I've been sitting in on your live room, which has been fascinating. But it's amazed me that you're trading so many different entities and different asset classes. Do you have a preferred one? How do you keep on top of so many different things? You're bellowing out forex, you're bellowing out oil, stocks, Facebook, Netflix. You've got your eyes on everything, man. It's remarkable.
I got to tell you, I wake up every single morning, and the first thing out of my mouth is I say, thank you to the good Lord. And because I was given a gift, to stand in a room with 43 30-inch monitors, and I have 3 great assistants behind me, and they're propelling and telling me what's going on in the background on other instruments as well through the predictive analytics. I have people who never traded S&P futures in their lives. Now are probably one of the best futures traders. I have 3 assistants. 2 of them I would put up a significant amount of money in an account and trust them to trade. One's 27 and one's 22. They've learned the technique. They've learned the software and predictive analytics very well. But again, it really is about taking the concept of, I know that there's so many people out there trying to do this, right? What propelled me 3 years ago was a good friend of mine who ran a $1 billion hedge fund said to me, you're really missing the boat here. And I said, why? I'm trading. I like my life. Everything's great. What? He said, nah. He said, the industry needs somebody like you because of the ability that you have and the software that you have. So yeah, I'll go up against anybody, and I have, and it's not just being overly confident, but when you have predictive analytics and whether you're trading foreign exchange, futures, commodities, equities, ETFs, it doesn't make a difference to me because it really is about my philosophies of being on the right side of the market teaching people. So I was going to write a book a year and a half ago, and I took a different approach to it now. I'm going to be writing it very soon. And guy said to me, well, why is your book going to be any different than the 1,000 that you can buy on Amazon? And I actually tell people when they buy books, return them, right? But my book that I was going to write was not only about my story, my journey to a certain point, but I was going to show how, based upon mathematics, based upon technology and software, how patterns repeat themselves over and over again. And it's like you and I, when we wake up, I have my routine. I mean, seriously, like I am like not off. I have a DNA, I have a pattern. So whether it's a pattern based upon price or a pattern based upon the way the particular algorithms line up. And so I teach that, and I wanted to put all these examples in a book. So one book I have in particular that I just got, and I wanted to prove a point to somebody, they were showing these various different head and shoulders patterns and this pattern and that pattern. I'm like, you got to hold that book up to a chart, and hopefully that pattern will set up where I have dynamic predictive analytics that are running constantly, and I can see things flip. What was it, 2 days ago when the Dow was down 555, 600 points? We caught the buy reversal, I think 10:45 in the morning, and they ran 400 points. Now, without predictive analytics, I would never have been able to capture that. So,
I talk about fundamentals to my trading room all the time, but I also say that I don't trade the fundamentals. I just don't have a clue where the fundamentals are going to take the market. So, are you really purely technical now?
It's all mathematics.
Yeah.
I mean, so to me, I'm not a fundamental guy, and I always refer this movie. I don't know why I ever watched it, but it ended up being a good movie. It was a movie called Contact with Jodie Foster. And when she hears the numbers coming in from on the speaker, they said, "What is this about?" And she said, "They're prime numbers," and she then relayed to it that it's a universal language, right? So to me, mathematics does not lie.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking anything. Like an analyst they have their, but I'm not an analyst, and I'm not going to look at a stock and then roll the dice and hopefully they're going to beat earnings or lose. No, and then put a buy and then underweight and overweight and accumulate. I don't even know what any of that means. All I know is at the end of the day, I want everybody to be in the black. I want consistency, and I want people to understand that what we're doing here is very important, and it can change their lives. When I get stopped out, I am become even more ferocious. I'll just come back and, I just come back like with a vigor.
So you agree then? I mean, because I didn't, so you are always using stops with your trades. Is that right? Do you always have a stop in place? There's two schools of thought on that. I'm a stop man. I swear by my stops. I sleep at night. I don't worry about the kids' education. I know I'm not going to blow up trading accounts. So you'd encourage anyone that's listening in, any new trader, to always be using stops to...
You need preservation of capital, because and on my software, I have the stops mathematically right in front of me. On each time frame, if I'm trading on a 15, I have the stop. If I'm trading on a 3 or a 5, I have the stop. So one of the first trade I ever did in my entire life was an options trade. And when I worked on the floor of the American Stock Exchange, there was a stock called American Can. It was a Dow 30 stock. And the stock traded on the New York Stock Exchange, the option trade on the American. That's how it was done back then. And I turned around in October and I said, I picked up the phone. I had $3,000. I was making $2 an hour. So 1,500 hours, I made $3,000. I saved. I opened up a brokerage account. I called my father's friend. They opened the account. I said, American Can, buy 5 Feb 50 calls at 2 3/4. Well, within, the stock went from 51, 52 down to 41 in about, 10 weeks. And I remember holding my head in my hands on a Friday afternoon. Is when he patted me on the back and said, "Hey, kid, go home. You can't turn the machines back on." Just like in the movie Trading Places. True story. Yeah. Then a week before expiration, the stock went from 51 to 53. And at 345, I sold whatever I had, 20, 30 contracts, whatever. And I made my money back and then some. And as I hung up the phone, I turned, I see my father. He had like a little tear in his eye. And he said, "Are you out?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm out." And he said, when I walked on the floor, I found a penny faced up. And I bent over. I made a wish that you wouldn't lose any money. And he said to me, what'd you learn from this? And I said, whenever you have a losing position, you look for a penny faced up. He said, no, you idiot. You never average down. When you're wrong, you're out. So that was
that's a lesson you will never forget. That one.
Yeah, no, that was a story of discipline.
So
so that's why, preservation of capital. When you're wrong, guess what? I remember this time I was long. I don't know a lot of S&Ps. I don't know the exact amount, and it was touching, and I was making money, and it was touching my offer, and I had my stop in place, and 1:00 in the afternoon, they released Google's earnings. And they weren't good. They were supposed to be released at 4. They dropped. I got stopped out on the bounce. I went to short them. They were touching. I didn't get filled. They dropped 9. I would have made my money back then some. And then I just threw a chair. But then that.
But did you get involved in the revenge trade? I mean, the revenge trade is the killer. I mean, I've seen so many guys getting sucked in with that. And
I mean, look at last Friday with the jobs number. You had a 3.6 unemployment number. The S&Ps shot up, then they traded down to 23, and they closed up 38 on the day. So
absolutely, it was a mad day, and obviously the job numbers. I mean, we were streaming that live as well. I took a forex trade in there, and it was completely counter trend. I mean, we got out for about 40-50 pips profit, and the room made some money on that. But it was a crazy number that. The markets were just behaving irrational. The markets got themselves too short the dollar basically before that. But I
love volatility. Yeah. I mean, like there are times like this afternoon, it's just like they're not moving. But we caught a lot of E-mini. We do pretty well. I mean, we.
So do you trade much? I mean, you mentioned that. I mean, a couple of stocks there and E-minis and so forth. I mean. We're forex signals, and so we're pretty much focused on the indices and forex. But are you more stocks than forex, or?
I would say that I try to do as many as up to 150 trades a day in this room. Sometimes we average about 95, 85, 100, whatever. And the ratio is probably, I would say, 40% futures, 40% equities, and 20% currencies. Now, FX. Now, I only do 3, which is the dollar, yen, pound, and euro dollar. So, I mean, a lot of people are asking me for the Aussie, and if the demand is there, then I would reconsider it. But to me, the pound. What was it? The pound. Before I left, it was just explosive. I bought it.
The pound is a dodgy one at the moment. We've got all the Brexit going on at the moment, and I haven't got my screens at the moment. But the pound's been all over the place. I mean, obviously it's all Brexit related, and we're it's like trading with Donald Trump these days. You're one tweet away from a 50-point move in the. In some of these currency pairs, you're one statement away from a Brexit, and you're 50 pips gone, and so it's a crazy one to trade. But if you're using the stocks, you're on the right side.
I think I did 15 trades in a row on the pound. When did I leave for Chicago? Friday. Yeah. So Thursday, I think I did 15 trades in a row, and I was 13 out of 15. So I got stopped out twice, and I made on the and there was one standard deviation where there was like 57 tips away from a moving average that I had, and it just dropped. And then it dropped all the way down from 76 to 36. And then I went long, and then it shot up to 58.
So
I try to make about 100 pips a day in those 3 pairs.
So you're trading on a 5-minute chart, 15-minute, or are you even?
Yeah, so when my research has shown me that in the predictive analytics world that it's really you can't trade off of one time frame, and that you need multiple time frames. And when you line up the time frames together, you're going to see powerful moves, especially when the bigger time frame lines up with the smaller time frame, because unless news comes out, there's a 97% ratio that trend is going to go in that direction from that predictive analytics moment. Right?
Multi-time frame analysis. It's something so important. 100%. It's so important. Absolutely so important.
You need multi-time frame because and then for I've blown people's minds because with the 3 sessions, the Asian, European, and the U.S. You could trade the futures contracts in the Asian and European, but when you trade during the U.S., you need, if there's an underlying ETF with it, you line up with the underlying ETF, and when they correlate, look out, you better go in that direction. Whether the spiders correlate with the E-minis or the E-minis correlate with the spiders, it's monstrous the way the predictive analytics.
I mean, that's fascinating, Steve. Do you? Yeah. I mean, do you? It sounds like you don't, but do you take positions overnight on this stuff, or do you? Are you?
No. I mean, people do. You know, like for example, like my research has shown me is that if I get a buy reversal, anytime after buy or sell, anytime after 132, the odds are about 60 to 70%. That the trend will continue in that direction the following day. So there are times, and obviously the odds go higher if those moves happen later. So if I get a buy reversal at 3:30, I would say 85-90% that would continue the next day. So people sometimes do take. I've known people to take big positions going into the next day with that.
Okay, so it's been fascinating. We're almost out of time here. Lastly, I got to ask simply. Yeah, because I get asked all the time. Do you prefer the good old days on the board, or do you prefer it now sitting in front of 41 screens? I mean, what do you prefer these? People ask me all the time. I'm too old for the floor now, but
yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that loved the old days, but you gotta be an innovator. You gotta be.
Times, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta change. You can't be a dinosaur. There are times like when I walk by at certain exchanges, I just stop and I peek in the window, and it just brings back the good old day memories. But I'm happy where I am now. I think I'm in a better place because, I built technology that to me is priceless. If you can call market direction, to me that's priceless. Absolutely, and that's what our predictive analytics do, and I teach that. And now I'm actually at a point where I love teaching and helping, and no questions ever stupid, and I get people of all sorts, and I'll talk to them the same as I talk to someone who's running a $15 billion hedge fund.
Well, one of the questions I get asked, Steve, all the time by people, a lot of the skeptics I get asked by, if there are such, is, if they say to me, Andrew, if you're so good at trading, why are you doing this education? Why are you helping other people? Why are you running the trading group? Because I absolutely love it. Like, it sounds like you. I absolutely love doing it. It's a lonely business in front of your screens all day long. It makes my trading day more enjoyable. And I can see it's exactly the same for you.
But see, I don't have to answer a question like that because I traded my whole life. Yeah. I have nothing to prove to anybody. Yeah. I'm doing it because I want to do this. I can easily go back and just trade the S&P futures all day long and be the happiest guy in the world. Yeah. But there's a part of me that wants to really, I want to give back now. Yeah. And so anybody who says, I get this. Why it's so good? Why hey, I did it.
Yeah, well, that's what I said a moment, when we got going, that there's a lot of people out there that haven't been trading as long as us, and they're coming in and maybe failed traders themselves. Who knows? But
really, to be honest with you, there's going to be people up. There's always going to be questionable. But you know what? I have integrity. I have my reputation, and I have a gift. And I thank God every day. And to me, it's really about the testimonials of me working with people and helping them. I really don't in this industry, you have to have thick skin, and I have skin like a crocodile. So to me, I really don't care what people think or say. I just want to do what's in my heart and teach people the right things. And
Steve, look, it's been an absolute pleasure today talking to you. I just said to you, being on the floor, I miss the trading banter, talking to professional traders like yourselves. We did it all day in, day out. I miss that banter. I've got a few mates that we still chat to from the city days, but talking to a market guy like yourself has been absolutely great. Guys, if anyone wants to learn more about Ticker Tocker, I'll put a link in below the video here so you can check out the Ticker Tocker platform. I spent a few days in there. Absolutely fascinating stuff. It really is awesome. I'm looking forward to the new developments coming up as well. So let me say, Steve, thanks once again for taking the time out of your really busy trading day to talk to me. I'm sure this is going to be the start of a great relationship between us, our setups. So thanks indeed, Steve, for taking part today.
Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate it. Yes, I'm looking forward to this, and I got some goosebumps because it's good to talk to someone like yourself.
Brilliant. Thanks, Steve. I'll be in touch.
Take care. Have a great day. Thank you.
Well, there you go. What a great interview. Absolute lovely guy, an absolute legend in the markets, one of the best day traders on the planet. If you want to learn more about Ticker Tocker, go to the link below. It takes you through to the website. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Don't forget to leave a comment. I'd like to know what you think about this one. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and of course on Facebook. If you follow us on Facebook, I'll see you 2 p.m. London time for the live event. You know the drill. Till the next video, happy trading and good luck.